Right, I'm getting a lot more subscribers now, so most of you won't have seen the Bobber vlog right from the start. So I'm putting this video together to show you the best bits of the Bobber vlog and how the bike has come from this to this, the bike that you see before you now. I've been doing a lot of research and study for the content that I'm going to bring to you in the near future, so I've been a bit slack on publishing videos lately. But I've just quit my day job to concentrate on making money online full time, so I'm going to jump into this with both feet. So I've also invested a big chunk of money into the next project for the Bobber vlog, so you're going to see that very shortly. We're off to the drag strip next week to see what the Speed twin motor goes like, and then after that things are going to really start to happen. So for now, here's some of the best bits of the Bobber vlog so far. Right, so in the very beginning, the first video was me actually trading my Thruxton in for the Bobber. I got rid of the Thruxton because it hurt my body too much to ride it, and at the time I was really doubtful whether I was making the right decision or not, because the Bobber's got less power than the Thruxton. But luckily, as it turned out, it was a really good decision, and it's brought you, the Bobber vlog, and me a lot of fun and interesting things with the Bobber. The first thing I had to do was actually make an X-pipe for it, because it was way too quiet and I wanted a bit more power out of it. So the X-pipe was one of the very first things to happen, and that made it a little bit louder, but it sounded a little bit weird and fluffy and I didn't like it. So then I had to set about making an exhaust for it. So I made wiring covers for it as well for when I took the air boxes off. That was quite a popular video at the time. Tip of the day, if you want to hide your wiring and keep it waterproof, balloons. There's separate videos about all this stuff I'm talking about, so if you want, go back and have a look at them. Oh, and of course, the oil cap saga. If anyone's had a brand new Triumph, they'll know what it's like actually undoing the oil cap for the very first time. So I also made another oil cap for it, and there's a video about that. Whee! There you go. That's how you get the cap off of a brand new Triumph. And of course, the biggest problem the Bobber has, the rear suspension. I eventually got a Fox shock for it. I wish I would have done this in the very first place, but I didn't really have the money for it, because shocks are a pretty dear deal on these, and it's very disappointing that they're not as standard, but there you go, that's how Triumph have it. A big part of what's happened to this bike is the rear guard. The rear guard has been through so many changes, and this was one of the very first things that sort of I didn't like aesthetically about the bike. So that was one of the very first things to get changed as well. But since then, the rear guard has been through several changes. So that's where we're at with this. Just some subtle little mods, and all the mods I've done on the bike so far, I've made it so that you can actually put it back to completely standard. I haven't actually chopped any of the bits up I need, like exhaust and stuff like that, or fenders, to actually do this. So it can all be put back to standard. I've managed to get rid of the ridge off of the guards, which I didn't really like. And first glance you wouldn't really notice it, but it is subtly different. And of course, we went and hit the drag strip with it. I hadn't been on the drag strip for a long while. I used to drag race VWs back in the UK. avoided drag strips because I didn't want to actually get roped into spending my money on projects for drag racing again. But here we are. I also messed about with a 42.2 sprocket for the rear there to make it a little bit lower geared to see if it made any difference on the quarter mile. And as it happens, it didn't, because the engine's got so much torque anyway, the standard gearing's pretty good. And then of course, DNK Tuneworks tune for it. That made a big difference straight away.
That's officially the quickest I've ever been up a drag strip.
I've been making content lately about Tune ECU, which is an app and an interface for you to be able to get into the standard ECU and tune it. But back at that time, a DNK Tuneworks was the way to go. Someone else had spent the time to actually develop a good tune, and I put it on the bike and it did make a good difference. And it was around this time I started the playlist, Zen and the Bobber. I'm an accredited mindset coach, and I really like to inspire people to open their minds, think outside the box. So this was a playlist for everyday mindsets you can use. But my most popular videos are the ones when I'm actually modifying a bike and filming the modifications and how I do it. So that's probably where my main content is coming from, and it's going to continue to come from in a much bigger way now too. And of course my ditch holder, I can't forget that.
Right, well this is the latest addition I've just made. Don't know if you can guess what it is. It's a holder for didgeridoos.
Then I really got to work on a rear guard for this. The rear guard is something which has always been annoying me ever since I've got the bike, and it has been for a lot of changes, and doing some unique paint work on the rear guard was one of them. And tyre stickers. Love them or hate them, I actually love them. I think they really make a bike pop, especially in like drag racing videos or stuff.
Wow, this is tedious. Gonna have to speed this bit of the video up or cut it out, blimey.
Which is also why I painted it, because it was originally ironstone grey, and that just really didn't pop in videos. So it got treated to a paint job as well. Then the rear guard ended up black again because it looked stupid with the newspaper design on it with the red paint and stuff like that. So it ended up black again, but I made it quick release.
And the one on the other side, and in here I've got my quick release butt for the wiring. Just separate that, and the other side come off like that, and there you have it.
The whole reason I got the bobber in the first place was because the Thruxton was hurting my body, and it's been so much better actually getting this bike. It's way more comfortable and I can ride for more than 20 minutes at a time now. However, I did actually position my legs to see if I could use forward controls to see if that would make my legs better on longer journeys, but instead my leg just locked up when I put them forward. So that was no good. So I made some little rests on the exhaust to put my feet on when I'm on the highway on a long journey and I want to stretch my legs a little bit. They look a bit funny, but they do a good job. And the exhaust, that's actually been through a lot since it was originally built as well. I got pulled over by the copper who's got a vendetta against noisy motorcycles. I had to get a noise test and get it quietened down. And at the same time, I made some removable baffles for the exhaust.
I've made this bit removable, see, so that I can actually play about with it if the sound's not right and get the sound right. And I might even make that adjustable. That's for another day.
And a distinguished gentleman's ride, which in Brisbane in 2022, the first one was called off because of rain.
But as you can see, I'm the only person here. For obvious reasons, it's been postponed. Well, that was interesting. Where is the Janet?
But then I made it to the second one. an alright day. And the 180 tyre I put on it, that's a really popular video. People like that one because people love making modifications to their bike, such as things like that. So if you haven't seen that one, go and check that out. In fact, go and check all these videos out. The 7016. So it's quite a bit wider and fatter. If I compare it with the other tyre there, look, you can see the difference. One of my favourite projects as well, it took me a while, it's quite a bit of work, that was the sprung seat. I designed a monoshock system for the sprung seat, but as it happens it works too well and it was way too comfortable. And there was a few little clearance problems, so it needs a bit of refining and I haven't got round to that yet. But now I'm going to ride it again and I'm going to film what happens, but I'm going to put a bit of insulation between the guard and the shock absorber just in case it does go too far and hit. And I really need some sort of warning device to tell me when it is getting close. So I reckon the best thing to do is to put a chicken there. So yeah, as you can see, the room between there might be a bit of a problem because this is going to go up, this is going to go down, and then that's going to smack into that. So I'm going to put my little piece of insulation there and my audible warning device to let me know what's going on. I'm going to film it as well so I'll be able to see, but not while I'm riding. So I'll put my audible warning device chicken there, I reckon. They're quite good chickens after this. And of course now it's got a speed twin motor in it, or Thruxton motor, it's exactly the same. That's 11:1 compression instead of 10:1 compression, so it does go quite a bit better. And I messed around with the Tune ECU to get the Triumph Thruxton and Speed Twin maps onto the Bobber ECU, which worked quite well. And at the moment I'm messing about actually refining the maps, getting a little bit more power out of it. And next week we're off to the drag strip to see what it goes like. And I may even compare my map with the DNK Tuneworks map and the standard map while I'm there. So that's about where I'm up to with the Bobber now. The supercharger's turning up next week for it. So once I've finished the content of the drag strip, I might do the GGR ride on Sunday as well. Not sure about that yet, not sure if I'm going to have time. Then it's all systems go, we're getting a supercharger on it and there'll be so much content about that. So that's that, I reckon. Thanks for all the support you guys are giving me, helping me grow the Bobber vlog, and I'm really looking forward to actually getting a lot more involved in it in the very, very near future. Have a great day.